Hi there, this is Mr. Thill, and today we're going to be looking at the different parts of a plant. So to do this, I brought several different samples into the room that we're going to be looking at and kind of identifying what parts of the plants to see in those samples. So we're going to kind of go from the ground up on a plant. We're going to talk about the roots first. So the first plant I bought is one that I actually dug up completely. It's one of the plants that grows in my garden outside. It's a weed. But this is the root of the plant right here. So as you can see, the root connects over to the stems, which then connect up to the leaves. And if this plant were to flower, we'd have flowers popping up over at the top part of this. So this is your root. Your root's primary purpose is to transport minerals and moisture from the soil up to the different parts of your plant. And we'll kind of show you how that process works when we get to the stem portion of it. So here's a couple different samples of what roots can look like in plants. There's obviously more stronger roots out there, but these are the ones that were easy to dig up to show for this video. Alright, so next we're going to be discussing the stem of different plants. So as you can see here, the stem to these two small ones is connected right below the root ball. So we can see the stems go up this way, and that's where the moisture transports from the root up to the different parts of the plant. It's easy to see the stem in some of the other samples I brought here. This is a flower, so we can see that we have a long stem right here that's connected. The root would be down at this end, and the stem is right here. And then we of course have some roses, where the stem runs to the middle and has leaves running off of it. Now the stem is basically a transport device for a flower. It transports the minerals and moisture from the ground, or from wherever it's rooted at, up to the other parts of the plant. So you can kind of see this by an experiment that I started on Monday. We actually took a rose, a white rose, and here's our control white roses to show you kind of the difference between the two. And we dipped that white rose in some food coloring. And so if roots actually deliver moisture to other parts of the plant, theoretically we should see some staining on the flower that proves that that moisture is being delivered. So this right here is our rose. So now, it's kind of hard to tell. Let me see if I find a good sample of it. But we have our base of blue food coloring down here, blue food coloring water down there. Now if you look at the tips of this rose petal here, you can see there's actually some blue staining on it. So that kind of shows you that that is what a stem does. A stem takes the moisture from the roots and from wherever the moisture is coming from and delivers it to the other parts of the plant. And we can see that because this white flower has blue staining on its tips from where the moisture was kind of delivered. So pretty cool. Maybe if I could take a picture of this, I'll post it so you can see it up more close. But you can see right there at the edge of the flowers, they have some blue staining from the blue food coloring. So that is the kind of example of a stem and what the stem's purpose is in delivering. The next thing we'll talk about is the ovaries or the fruit. So the ovaries are where I guess we would think of them as eggs, but it's where the seeds of a plant develop. The ovaries or the fruit are usually going to be below a flower. That's why if you have like a fruit like a lime, you see these little like nubs. That's where the flowers, this is where the stem was, and this is where the flower was before it kind of fell off when it was ripe. So this, we call it a fruit, but it's actually an ovary. If you cut this open, you'll find some seeds for the lime inside of it. I have some other examples of ovaries here too to show you from plants. So on our flower right here, we have the ovary stored in the base of the flower, right about there. And I'll probably cut that open to kind of show you that in a bit. And then in our rose flowers, the ovaries would be developing right down here below the flower base. So the stem kind of connects to the ovaries, which connects over to the petals. And then for our last one here, it's going to be less obvious because this plant's a lot more mature, but there would be ovaries developing right down here where the stem attaches to the flower. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to take one of our plants. I have one here that is immature, didn't fully develop into a flower, and we're going to cut it open to see if we can find the seeds that are inside the ovaries. So let me grab my dissection tools here. Hold this in place. And I'm just going to slice this open, and we're going to see if we can find the ovaries inside, or the seeds inside the ovaries. Alright, so I sliced it clear down, and yep. Might be hard to tell from your perspective, so let me get my tweezers out to show this. But when we sliced open the ovary of this, this rose plant, you can actually see there's seeds, developing seeds on the inside of the plant. Each of those little kind of tiny dots there is a seed. So that's the purpose of an ovary. It's basically a place to store the seeds while they develop to maturity, so they can then be distributed out by whatever method the seeds distributed out. That could be, through an animal eating it and pooping it out. Could be through the wind traveling it from place to place. Could be from water. But that is what you see when you cut an ovary open. Similarly, if I take this lime and cut it open, remember a lime is basically a big version of an ovary, we should be able to find some seeds inside. Though some limes and some lemons have been bred so they have less seeds on the inside. So I don't really want to cut it open anymore because I don't really feel comfortable using that knife for that purpose, but there likely are going to be some seeds buried in the fruit here, buried in the ovaries here. So yeah, the ovary's primary purpose is a place for the flowers or the plant to produce new seeds. That process is of course done through pollination, which happens in the flower part of it, but that's kind of what you're looking at for the ovaries. Okay, next up we'll be discussing let's do flowers next, yeah. We'll be discussing the flowers. I'm not going to go too in depth on this because we're going to be learning about the specific parts of flowers later. But as you could see, I'll pull out this red one here. I'll pull this one actually. The flower is attached to the ovary. And that's because the process for which a plant makes new seeds happens in the flower itself. So, we did this in class, but if you pull open this flower, you can see that we have our pollen right down here at the base of the flower. Let me pull some of those pieces there. So this is where the process of making new seeds begins. It begins in this pollen area here. So every flower has different kind of ways of attracting animals to it if they reproduce their seeds through pollination. You can see this one has just a ton of stigmas on it, meant to capture pollen as it moves from place to place. But if you look at, for example, this red rose here, we have a different colored set of pollens and stigmas in the base of it. So that's the primary purpose of the flower, is kind of to hold the parts of the flower that help produce new seeds. We'll be talking more about those parts in a future video. I just wanted to kind of give you a brief overview of them. Next, I want to discuss the leaves of a flower. So the leaves kind of have a purpose, a couple of purposes in it. The leaves are in charge of kind of gathering up sunlight and gathering up oxygen. So they have cells there that are meant to absorb sunlight and kind of send those throughout the flower. But they also have cells that are meant to kind of breathe in and breathe out. They breathe in carbon dioxide and they let out oxygen. I don't know why I said they breathe in oxygen, they don't breathe in oxygen. So they basically have a chemical reaction happen inside their body that transforms carbon dioxide into oxygen. That's why they're so essential to life on our planet. So leaves look kind of plain when you look at them from afar, but if you look at them up close, they have all kinds of really neat kind of systems and veins and all kinds of delivery systems inside of them. So you can't really see it with the naked eye. I'm going to show you it right here. You can obviously see there's a vein running through the middle of it, but there's going to be a whole series of smaller veins that run through it that are designed to transport carbon dioxide, to absorb sunlight, to breathe out. So if you never looked at one of these under a microscope, you'll even see the little breathing holes of it. So I'm going to show you one way that you can kind of like let those things come to the forefront. I have here some food dye. This is actually dye you would use for like dyeing icing. So it's pretty thick, but I found that the thicker dye actually works better for this kind of little activity. Alternatively, if you want, you could do like a crayon pressing to kind of see the designs on the underside of a leaf. But I'm going to be using this thick dye because even though it's a little messy, as you can tell by my hands, it's really good at kind of bringing out certain designs of the leaf to the forefront. So I'm going to squirt some of the dye on here, if I can. There we go. And I'm going to kind of spread it out. My fingers are already messy, so I don't really care. And then we're going to do a couple of different pressings on the paper here, just to kind of see the designs of the veins and the breathing holes on this flower, on this leaf. So we'll press down here, kind of get the excess off. And then we're going to move over to other places to see an actual picture of what the leaf looks like. So let's see if this one's any good. Almost there. Alright, cool, perfect. So right here on this third one that we did, you can kind of see the different veins and holes that are running through the underside of the leaf. So we have our primary one that goes to the middle here, and then we have our little side ones that kind of go off the edge of it as well. And I don't know if you can tell it, but there's lots of little circular spots here. Those may be the breathing holes, or they may be more veins in it. But you can definitely see the breathing holes that a leaf has under a microscope. So yeah, if you want to try that at home, just take a leaf off of a plant, get some dye or food coloring, or maybe even a stamp pad will work well for this, and then just kind of press it down. And each side has different designs, so you'll see more of the breathing holes on the bottom side, and you'll see more of the veins on the top side of the leaf. Okay, so anyways, I just wanted to kind of give you guys a brief overview of some of the parts of a plant using some visuals. So hopefully you have a better understanding of what we're talking about when we're talking about leaves, roots, stems, flowers, and ovaries in terms of the purpose of in a plant. Okay, so we'll be talking more about the parts of a flower the next time we kind of meet for this. All right, so till next time.